Yeah, when you were in Toronto, you said this beautiful sentence, all movies are a form of personal confession. Can you describe the feeling when you did the final cut, when you said, this is the finished version, this is the version that I want to show everybody? How did that feel?
I felt good. I was at peace. I had worked really hard on it. I had been there every second for all the editing, all the sound mixing and the music and everything. I mean, no movie is perfect. No movie is going to please absolutely every person. Everybody's going to see it differently. And really, I made a movie like I would want to see. And if you make a movie honestly the way you want to see it, there's a chance that some other people will feel the same way. But it's never going to be exactly the same movie for them. I mean, this is part of the process, and I enjoy it. I enjoy as a spectator. When I see a movie somebody made, if it's good enough, I start to participate in the storytelling, and I form my own point of view about this story and the characters. And in a way, it becomes my movie, not theirs. And this is what I want to happen with Falling. I like it that if people are moved by it enough, interested enough, that it's in their hands now. It becomes their story. I said one thing in, I think it was in Lyon at the Lumiere Film Festival, which in a way took the place of Cannes this year, at least for France. To one audience, it was a big, huge audience, and I'm looking at all of them, at their faces. They've just seen the movie, and I said, it feels like I just took our little daughter to school for her first day of school, and now she went in the building, and now her relationship will be with different people. I can't control what happens. I hope that they get along and it's a good relationship inside that building, but it's in their hands. So I like this. I like that the movie becomes your movie.
Yeah, I think it was fascinating for me to witness how John tries to stay calm all the time. His father is so hard to him, but he's just trying to stay calm. That's when I had this question in mind. Can the love to your parents actually stop? Is there a point, a moment when you think enough is enough? Is that something that you also wanted to let people think about?
Well, I mean, I think every new generation has to crawl out from underneath the shadow of the previous generation. This is life. This is the cycle of life. It's natural. Even if you have a great relationship with your parents and a great communication, or a much better one than, say, John and Willis do in our story, you still have to become your own person, your own individual, you know? And to some degree, you have to reject their example, at least for a time. You have to find your own way. And, you know, I don't think that John as a character is better than other people or like a saint or something. As he says in one scene, I am making a conscious effort. I promised myself I was not going to get into a big argument this time. In other words, he's made a choice to not respond to violent, verbal violence or psychological violence with his own violence, even if it's very tempting, especially with someone who's as difficult to deal with as the character of Willis is. Because even though it's maybe a lot easier and more satisfying to respond in the same way, or to even cut off this relationship, once you do that, you're not making progress. Then there's no possibility for advancing or finding some connection with the person. And people do this in society, you know, and you understand. You know, maybe you're a woman and you say, I'm so sick of the history of how men have been behaving that I'm not going to talk to men anymore. Or I'm not going to see movies directed by men anymore. I understand, but if you do that, then it's over. You're not going to make a connection. It's a choice. Everybody makes their own decision. Or I'm African American and I'm sick of the history of the way white people have been treating people like me, so I'm not going to interact with them anymore. Okay, I understand. And you have your reasons and they're valid. Everybody makes their own decision. But then you give up the possibility of making progress together. My personal feeling is that it's more valuable to keep trying, maybe because I'm stubborn. And I think John is just as stubborn about wanting to communicate, to find a possibility, even though there's no guarantee that they will find empathy, a point of contact. He's willing to try to be as stubborn about that as his father is about not communicating, not accepting, not understanding, not seeing him. That's just a personal choice that that character makes, you know. And he's not entirely successful, you know. There's a point at which he can't take it anymore, you know. But then he tries to recover from that. And something has happened. Something has changed. Not because of the argument, but because of everything that led up to it. Even Willis realizes, even though he can't say it, he's never going to say thank you or I'm sorry, it's just not in his nature. There is something about the effort that he recognizes that his son is making to communicate, so he opens the door a little bit. That's at least something.
Yeah, you do so many things as an artist, film, music, photography, poetry, and also painting. I just want to ask you just a quick answer to what is art for you? What is art in general for you?
Communication. All art is communication, and no child separates other children as artists and non-artists. For some reason, adults do this. I don't understand it. And I think that you don't have to make a drawing, a painting, compose music. You don't have to make a movie. Just by being aware of what's going on around you and reacting, like I'm reacting to your questions, I'm interpreting what you're saying, and my response to your question involves everything that I've experienced my whole life until now, not just what you're saying. And so I'm reacting, I guess, creatively to what you've asked me. I'm responding based on what's happening and everything that's happened until now. That's art. That's communication. And whether you will make a drawing or you think a thought as you're walking down the street about what you see or the weather or what you see people doing across the street, whether you share that with other people or not, or only with yourself, that's creative behavior. So that's what art is to me.